Hey! Today I'm building a full track from one of the melodies I wrote last week. It's part 1 and it will be focused on getting the main ideas fleshed out. So let's get to it. I started by selecting a drum rack to set the overall style of the track. I chose a synthwave rack. Ableton has a bunch of free-to-use VSTs on their website. Telling Ableton where to find the VST is as simple as dragging the folder over and dropping it into the packs folder in Ableton. You can then drag the drum rack into the timeline, set the metronome and hit record. It's quick, it's easy, and you don't waste creative energy getting it all to work. Since I chose a synthwave pack, I decided to go for a basic synthwave inspired drum pattern. I recorded the kick drum first, then simply drew in the snare and hi-hats. It was all pumping a bit loud, and although I won't be mixing too much as I go, I still will do some basic things such as panning, EQ, and volume tweaking. Here's what the drums sound like. I was thinking that I should have a little intro before the vocals come in, so I left some space for that. After returning to this melody, one thing that I wasn't too happy with was that I'd gone to the relative major key in the chorus, but it ended in that key and it didn't sound resolved coming back to the verse again. So I decided to build a post-chorus on the end to bring it back to B minor. Here's what that sounds like. I then wanted to launch straight into bass, but I hadn't worked out the harmony. Oops! So I grabbed a bit of paper, a pen, and played through the melody and worked out some simple harmony. Nothing too difficult or advanced, a basic 4-chord track. It's not overly interesting or special, but it works. It supports the melody, and so I'm happy. And then I moved on to the intro. I selected a pad tone from the pack and took little bits from the melody. I also wanted a counter melody in this section. I tried to extend the counter melody throughout the entire song, but of course it was too busy. Here's what the intro sounds like now. I then dropped the bass notes in, using one of the bass tones from the same synthwave pack as the drums. Here's what the bass sounds like. I really wasn't happy with the bass and thought that a Taurus-inspired tone would work better. I tried it, but wasn't completely sold, and so I kept playing around until I settled on a tone that I think worked. The last thing that I wanted to do to flesh out the basic idea for this song was to add some pad chords underneath everything to help solidify the harmony. I didn't like any of the other VSTs in the pack, so I went into Arturia Analog Lab and found a patch I liked. I tried recording, but it sounded too close together, too mushy, and it didn't work. I also discovered a clashing note in the chorus and shifted that to a better note. After separating the notes, here's what the pads added to the track. I was worried about things getting too busy and too mushy, and I'm really out of practice with production and mixing. So I wanted to go easy on myself as I work on these tracks and slowly get back to a level of confidence. I haven't done a huge amount of tweaking, mixing, or adding the extra, barely noticeable ear candy that exists in these tracks usually. And I haven't recorded the vocals yet. So here is the full track as it stands now, with the melody being played by an 80s Voices VST. So that was part 1 in my Build a Full Track from a Melody challenge. I'll be adding in vocals next, and part 3 will be adding in the extra ear candy, doing some production, and trying my best at mixing. Don't forget to like and subscribe with notifications. It really helps a lot. And I'll see you again soon. See ya!